Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SeoSamba. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SeoSamba.com. That's SeoSamba.com.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today we have with us John Mansfield with Detail Garage. Welcome, John.
Lee, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am so excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about Detail Garage. How you serving folks?
Absolutely. So Detail Garage is a really cool and unique experience for automotive enthusiasts. We started a little over, our first original store was 2008, and it was really kind of bringing to life the experience of the Chemical Guys brand, which is the product that we primarily focus and sell inside of our stores. So if you think about anybody that is looking for an opportunity to find their passion and make it shine, that's what Detail Garage exists to do. We don't actually provide any detailing services inside of the stores. What it's more about is as someone comes into a Detail Garage, we make it a fun experience. We make it something that's centered around getting to know them, their ride. It doesn't matter if it's a 1996 Honda Accord or a Lamborghini. The reality is if you're passionate about it, we want to help you make it look its best.
And so that's what it's all about, is creating that experience for those super fans, no matter what their vehicle is.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing, is we've built a family and a community around that.
Now, how did you go about building a community? Because everybody tries to build a community, but not many people are very successful at it.
In our case, it really comes down to the experience that Detail Garage offers. So if you come into a Detail Garage, you're not going to find the kind of typical retail exchange where it's, hey, can I help you find anything in particular or anything like that. It's more about the person. So from the moment you walk into the door, hey, welcome to Detail Garage. I'm John. What's your name? How did you hear about us? And it starts from that first moment coming into the store, understanding how they heard about Detail Garage and or Chemical Guys. And then going from there, kind of going down the path of understanding what brought them in, what they are passionate about. Someone come, as part of that exchange, I'm just looking for something to wash my car. Well, the next isn't going to be, oh, great, we have a great line of soaps over here to show you. It turns into, oh, that's awesome, I can show you a ton of great stuff. But my first question is your ride actually here? Let's go take a look at it together. And from there, we actually go out, one of our Detail Garage associates looks at the car with them, always first celebrates it. Because again, regardless of what the car is, it's that customer's car, they're passionate about it. So we celebrate the ride. We go through and we look, kind of point out some other opportunities for products. We come back in and we make it a really tailored experience for that customer. And then from there, we invite them to be part of the community. We offer classes once a month at each of our locations. So if you have a basic understanding of how to wash your car or detail your car, great. We can help you take it to the next level with the classes. And then beyond that, and especially prior to COVID, and we're starting to see it come back in, is we have monthly rides and coffee events. So go use the product, come back at the end of the month, and join, with a lot of other of our customers that want to show off the results they've gotten out of it. And then from there, it's following and making them part of our community on social media.
So now how did the kind of idea bubble up? Did it start as kind of just a one shop and then you were trying to say, hey, this is cool, we got something here, let's try to scale it? Like how did it evolve?
That's exactly correct. So the founders of Chemical Guys, who are still part of the business today, David Notek and Paul Schneider, they were the Chemical Guys. Like they mixed the products, they formulated, they were the ones that went out to shows. And once it kind of turned into a real business, requiring warehouse and facility, it kind of this idea of, well, if people are, enjoying our brand, we want to make that connection with them personally. And so that first Detail Garage experience was created as a factory store of Chemical Guys. And from there, just based on the sheer number of people that turned out, kept coming back, kept buying our products and telling us how much they enjoyed the experience. But, oh my gosh, I have to drive an hour to get here. I'm still doing it. But man, if you could only open one in Riverside, or you could only open one in El Monte or some of those, it started to kind of, come to the surface that this is an experience that people are willing to drive an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for. Why can't we create those communities locally?
And then once you did that, so the first franchisees, were they kind of just super fans?
Yeah, if you take a look at, we have some great stories. Most of them, our very, very first franchisee was actually a former employee of the company. And it's such a great story because, he worked within manufacturing. And if you go back, I think he opened his first franchise in 2017. He now has 3 franchises, and we just signed an ADA or area development agreement for him to expand another 4 franchises. So, it started inside the family at first, but then as additional franchisees came into the network, a lot of them were, just super fans of the Chemical Guys or Detail Garage brands.
So now when you have somebody like that and then they kind of are taking your concept and they're out in the wild like that, and it's an early franchisee, how much nurturing and how much kind of loving on them do you guys do or did you do at that point? And then how has that kind of training evolved over time?
Yeah, that's a great point. So initially, the team on the Detail Garage side was really small. It was really just 3 people. I joined the company in July of 2019, and part of the reason that they brought me on was exactly for that point, is to how do we scale this not just by number of stores, but the kind of support, the kind of effort we provide. So, the reality is, any of the early phase, anybody that joined the system in 2017, 2018, 2019, they could pick up a phone and get a hold of anybody. But now what we're doing is, I think we've effectively tripled this year. We're now triple the headcount. So we have a director of retail operations, a retail operations manager, a channel marketing manager. We've partnered with an excellent outside store design service. So we're starting to put and really branch these tools out. So if you look at what our training process is for any franchisee, originally it was a 5-day training here at our headquarters, and that was really centered around the actual use and detailing and detailing of products. And where we're at today is we now have a 2-week course, which starts off with our master's class, which is how do you properly use the products, how to assess and make proper recommendations. And then that second week is all about retail operations. So how to properly how to properly manage orders, merchandising, inventory management. That's another great hire that we added in the last 2 years, is a director of merchandising inventory management who has provided some great tools and templates, because merchandising, of course, if you're not a merchant or retailer by trade, is a very tricky process to get into. So we've tried to provide a lot of tools there. Same thing on the marketing side. Anything as it relates to opening and running the store on a daily basis, we now really try to incorporate in the training. And then through our franchise communications portal, FranConnect, we take tickets. We regularly push out updates. So we, again, really try to stay close to everybody. In fact, later today, we're having our annual monthly business review for all the Detail Garage franchisees.
Now, when you were making that transition from, where everybody knows everybody to a more kind of scalable, systematic processes, how has that been? Because in essence, you moved from a company that was doing, the work to now you're a training company. In essence, you're helping educate people and getting them up to speed so they can be effective in their own right and make money faster. So how, that's almost a mindset shift. How do you guys kind of handle that?
I don't know from our standpoint that we see it as a mindset shift, because Detail Garage has always been, one, built around the idea of a family and community. So, obviously from a structure and a process standpoint, it's definitely, you have to change the mindset there and recognize the opportunities to evolve, innovate. But really, as it comes to the personal connection, and I think that that's the most important for us, is that process really hasn't changed at all. So the idea of someone being interested in the franchise, speaking with our director of franchise or business development, coming here for a discovery day, seeing our operation, meeting members of the team, sitting down with myself or our director of retail operations, and then maintaining ongoing relationships. Really, we the franchisees know at any point in time. They all have my cell number, for instance. So I regularly still take text and phone calls from anybody that wants to reach out. So I think the mindset really was just figuring out, and constantly being in this mindset of evolution and innovation, but the personal connection, that always has to remain.
Now that, how many franchisees do you have out there now?
We have a total of, actually, we just opened one this weekend, so we are at 70 total detail garages. 15 of those are company, or what we call brand stores, and the balance are franchises.
Now, now that you have that many folks in the system, have you gotten the opportunity to kind of learn from them being boots on the ground and fresh eyes in different markets? Have they come up with some innovations that were able to be transferred system-wide?
Absolutely, and I think where we really try to pick the team's brain the most is on the product side. So, initially we were a Southern California brand, and now we have great franchisees in locations like Detroit and Swansea, Massachusetts, or Virginia Beach, or West Palm Beach, Florida. And with that, it becomes kind of an understanding of the difference of seasonality in those locations, the difference of the customer needs product-wise or education-wise. And so that's, I think in my mind, that's one of the greatest pieces of insight they provide is what are the local market needs, because we are in so many different markets today.
And then how did you guys handle the pandemic? Did that impact you at all, or was this something that people could still get their stuff when they needed it and it really wasn't impacted that much?
Yeah, COVID, I think for most retailers initially was something that we had a lot of apprehension about. I mean, it was, I think, about a year ago today that the leadership team and I were sitting down in a room trying to figure out, what does this mean for the company? What does this mean for our franchisees? And one thing that we committed to, and honestly kind of, again, organically came out of the stores and the feedback, where we started having taxi services come to us, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, first responders that were asking us, hey, how do we clean our rides? How do we keep ourselves safe? And so that allowed us to pivot into launching and introducing sanitizer products as well as disinfectants, which we did later in the year. But as we started researching the various provisions and ordinances as they came out, is being able to advocate on behalf of our stores to remain open as essential businesses. And with that, kind of the first thing we did, because we just didn't know, especially in March of last year, what this would turn into, is I think it was the third week of March, we announced to our franchise network that we would be suspending all royalties and franchise fees, not just suspending, but forgiving them during, kind of the height of the pandemic until we kind of had a better direction. So from March through June 15th of 2020, we completely forgave our franchisees of any royalties or marketing fund fees, any franchise fees at all. And then on top of that, with the introduction of our new sanitizer product, as well as our existing cleaning product, we offered them full COGS rebate on any donations that they made to first responders or people in need of those items.
Now, I think that must get to the heart of your kind of your brand and the importance of community, is this level of generosity. It seems like you're always looking out for the customer and always trying to kind of lean forward in their direction of how you can be helpful and how you can make sure that they are getting what they need.
Yeah, when we talk about it being a community or a family, you hit the nail on the head, and that's the point. Is people, the idea of being connected to people that are so passionate and are, essentially aligning their passion with our brand. We have to take care of them. We have to make sure that they really feel that they are a part of this family.
And then, how do you see kind of 2021 shaping up? Is this looking good for you guys?
Yeah, the reality, again, of COVID is that kind of March to April timeframe was a little concerning. But as we started to get into May and June and beyond, we started hitting, at the detail garage level, record-setting sales numbers. So if you look at the year as a whole, we finished gross retail sales over $40 million, which was a 50% increase on 2019. And as you looked at comp growth, we saw that we were up 21% on the comp store level, and that's including, when we talk about that total number as a whole, that's including adding 10 new franchises in the second half of the year. So as we look at 2021 and recognizing that with people having more time at home, probably being kind of bored out of their mind, to be honest, in some cases, is they're looking for projects, they're looking for ways to take on new ideas. And so we've really seen the auto detailing community, especially the do-it-yourselfer, expand pretty exponentially, which bodes really well for us as we go into the rest of the year.
Now, is the customer of Detail Garage the same as a potential franchisee? Do they look the same? Are they that same kind of passionate, super fan, loving cars kind of person, or is it a different type of person that becomes a franchisee?
It's the actually having the passion a lot of times is that barrier for entry to us. And, ideally, they would be somebody that has a passion in the automotive space. But, when we talk about, and this is kind of, the idea of when we say we want to help people find their passion and make it shine, the great thing about passion is it can cover a lot of areas. So if you have somebody who is passionate about business, passionate about the retail space, or they have passion for the idea of being an entrepreneur, then we want them to be a part of the family too. It's the idea of if you're just, looking for a quick buck and you're not really going to, take this seriously or extend that sense of community or passion to your customers, then you're not going to be somebody that we really want to talk to. But again, if you can demonstrate and we see that you have a passion, a true passion for something that relates to our business, then we want to talk to you.
Now, do you find that you get a lot of referrals from your existing franchisees that they know someone that fits that bill, that it kind of gives you some level of organic growth?
Absolutely. We've seen quite a few examples of that, but the more exciting thing as we think about growth right now as we're heading into 2021 is the number of existing franchisees who are signing up and getting ready to open their second, third, or fourth detail garage.
Now, are you looking for that kind of empire builder, or is your first person kind of that onesie guy that's just doing it because they believe?
Again, it comes back to the point of passion. So if someone's passionate, we're never going to turn anyone away. But for the nature of making sure our franchisees are successful, this idea of really kind of shifting toward multi-unit ownership is something that we're very excited about.
What about somebody that is already in franchising but maybe has a complementary brand or it's kind of a related industry?
Yeah, and I've listened to quite a few of your podcasts, and it seems like, as you pointed out, that is becoming a growing trend for sure, as far as cross-franchising or complementary franchising. As long as it's something that doesn't detract or directly compete with the Detail Garage brand or Chemical Guys, we would love to have them as part of the family.
So now, is there kind of a profile? Is there somebody like you're looking for ideal franchisees? Is there how do you kind of go about in finding them?
We've started a little bit more rigorous of a screening process. And what we did is we took aptitude and psychological profiles of some of our best franchisees. And that's part of a screening survey that's taken when someone comes in. So looking for someone that, again, has that passion, someone that has business acumen behind them, someone that, understands what it means to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. Again, we'll provide you a great amount of support, but you have to be willing to put in the work, just like any other franchise that's out there. So, those are kind of the initial things we look for is one, do they match the profile psychologically and from an aptitude basis of our existing franchise network. And then from there, it's just kind of figuring out what are the tools that we can help them bring to the table and what are some things we can learn from them as well.
Now, what about the chemical side of the business, the Chemical Guys side of the business? Is this something that anybody can order online, or is
Correct,
it only?
Chemical Guys is a fully omni-channel brand, so you can find Chemical Guys within Amazon, within Walmart, and of course at Detail Garage.
And then at Detail Garage, that's kind of an exclusive product for Detail Garage?
No, it's our full main lineup. So the kind of difference and where we see the split is obviously when you think about Amazon, it's a great opportunity for awareness and to get products into customers' hands. The same thing for Walmart. When you look at Detail Garage, there's a few major differences that kind of make it stand out as a destination. So if you look at a Walmart or an AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, you're typically going to see anywhere between 60 and 50 SKUs. The average Detail Garage is going to have north of 400 SKUs. of Chemical Guys product. And then along with that comes the knowledge, the expertise, the classes and events that you aren't able to get at any other retailer of Chemical Guys.
So now you mentioned that the pandemic kind of spurred some of these disinfectants and cleaning products like that. Can you talk about that a little bit, about what's available in that regard?
Absolutely. So the first products we brought to market, and that's, again, the great thing about the brand is we have an ability to move fast. So again, sitting around a table in the beginning, middle of March, and we recognized, the pandemic, I think like everybody, how significant and serious it was. Our first question is, well, what is it we can do to help people? What are things that we need? And as you kind of go through and listening to the news reports at the time, you hear, nobody can get a hold of toilet paper and no one can get a hold of hand sanitizer or products like this. And clearly toilet paper is not our wheelhouse, but Chemical Guys is a manufacturer of chemicals. This was something that our product and development team, or research and development team, was able to get turned out. So from, again, that middle of March to April 16th, literally 4 weeks later, we were able to bring to market an 80% alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And that's pretty crucial because typical hand sanitizers sit around 62% alcohol content. We saw some going to 70%, but if we were going to do a product, we wanted to make sure it performed the best possible way. So coming to market with this 80% alcohol hand sanitizer was a great step forward for us. The cool thing is that our existing product typically comes in a sprayable bottle, and so we offered a 16-ounce, 80% alcohol hand sanitizer that was in sprayable format, which was unique because rather than have to hand the bottle to someone else, you could just spray their hands for them. You didn't have to worry about cross-contamination. And that evolved into a gel sanitizer, and by November of this year, we were actually able to bring to market a surface disinfectant for both the vehicle and for home that is registered on the EPA List N, which is the chemicals that the EPA recognizes and the CDC recognizes as effective against viruses like SARS-CoV-2.
Wow, that's an amazing story. You guys were able to move that fast and be that helpful and useful again to the community. To me, that's the moral of the story. If you can really invest in your community, good things are going to happen.
And we 100% agree with that.
So if somebody wants to learn more, have a more substantive conversation with you or somebody on your team, what's the website?
The website is detailgarage.com. Right there at the header, you'll see a section for franchising, and just click on that and you'll learn pretty much everything you need to know without talking to us. And then from there, if someone's interested, there's a form to fill out, and we'll get in touch with them.
Well, John, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Lee. I really appreciate the time.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.